These are delicious. You are so going to love them. If you love chocolate, you are going to love this sheet cake recipe. Whether you call this Texas sheet cake or chocolate sheet cake, you will love it. This recipe is a great birthday cake or a special event cake. It easily serves a crowd and it's absolutely delicious. What's even better is that it tastes just like the original version and it's gluten-free.
We're going to start this recipe with setting your temperature on your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm what you would call a lazy sifter, because to me, the pouring of this, now with gluten-free flour, it might be a little bit different, but whenever it said sifting, this is what I would do. So you need to make sure that it's level. Preferably for me, the cup for cup, all multi-purpose is the one I like. There's also a baking one, which tastes great, but this one has been readily available at my local Sobeys store. And so this is what I have been using, and I find it works great. So we're gonna see how this works in this cake mix. It's one that my mom made, and I miss some of these classic recipes. So learning how to make them gluten-free is something that I want to learn to do, and I want to share that with you. Okay, there we have our 2 cups of sugar and our 2 cups of flour. Now we're gonna go over the stovetop and do the next part of this recipe.
Here's a quick glance at the other ingredients you're going to need for the cake part.
I'm just gonna break it into smaller pieces so that hopefully it melts a little bit better. Turn that on to medium heat. And we're also going to add our 1 cup water.
Next, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of cocoa to the butter and water mixture and bring that to a boil.
And there is our boil.
Add 1 teaspoon of baking soda to your dry ingredients.
Our dry mixture first. Mix that in with the sugar.
And now add those 3 dry ingredients to the mixture that you've just brought to a boil on the stovetop.
To whisk that together until there's no lumps. But we also don't want to beat it because we don't want to add more air bubbles into it. Okay, let's take it in like so. Half a cup of buttermilk. You're using vanilla when you're using chocolate, but I think it brings extra flavor to it. And add 2 eggs in. That went kind of weird. Pull up gently. Get all that combined.
Use your largest cookie sheet, or one of those aluminum pans from the dollar store also work great. Now that I've scraped that pan clean, we're going to spread out the batter so that it reaches all the sides, also that it lays nice and flat, and that it is the same depth all the way around. That is what you're trying to do so that it doesn't get larger in one section and cook unevenly.
Oh no. Well, this is weird. Look at that bubble on top. Okay, whoa, it fell. Okay, it just fell. So let's do the toothpick trick. Oh, it's done. Okay. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, this was all like bubbly and whatnot. Okay, it looks done. Let's go behind the other counter and we're gonna make up our icing now.
This is what makes this Texas sheet cake even better. It's the icing on top. So it's a half a cup of butter, a quarter cup of cocoa powder. Mix that together till it's melted. And now you're going to add a half a cup of milk to that. Mix till combined. And then 3.5 cups of icing sugar. And beat that well. If you want a thicker icing, add more icing sugar. That's totally up to you. I thought 3.5 cups was more than enough. But it took me a little while to add that 3.5 cups of icing sugar into the saucepan because it is my smallest saucepan. So it's going to look like I'm adding a lot of sugar. Well, I am, but anyways, just so you can see how it mixes down and combines. And then what I did was bring it to, it was just about a boil so that I knew that it was completely dissolved and ready to pour. This icing poured beautifully over top, and it will run over the sides if you're not careful, but then it sets up beautifully like you see here. And then cutting into it was simple and easy to do. Now I'm going to show you how thick these slices are, and this is what makes it great, is that you're not giving everybody a huge slice of cake. You're giving them pretty much a brownie size, but it has this awesome icing on top, so it has more of a cakey texture to it. Just look at how awesome that looks.
Ever since going gluten-free in August, that has been the real test, is to take some of these recipes that I love and make them gluten-free so that I can still enjoy them. But my husband doesn't have to eat gluten-free, and so I base it on his taste buds if it can taste the same. And these have the hubby's approval. Look at that. It is nice and fluffy or moist, but it tastes just like it used to when it had flour. So the cup for cup blue bag all-purpose flour worked perfectly in this recipe. And I am so excited because this is one of my favorite recipes from my childhood. And now I can still enjoy it. I hope you like the recipe too. So in the comments, let me know what you call this cake. Is it a Texas sheet cake, or is it a chocolate sheet cake, or do you have a special name for it? In my mom's recipe book, this is called Karen H's Brownies. That's the title it has. So when I'm looking for it, the one that I call it is your brownies with the yummy chocolate frosting on top. You'd be surprised number of people that are nervous about how the gluten-free flour is going to interact. And I have to admit, in my limited knowledge of going gluten-free, not all flours are equal. But in this recipe, the cup for cup all-purpose flour in the blue bag worked perfect. So this is a 2 thumbs up recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, don't forget to hit subscribe so you see the other videos that are going to come up in the following weeks. I am working my hardest to put out one video every single week so that you have continual content coming from our home. And if you enjoyed this video specifically, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm to know that this is a video worth watching. And if you enjoyed it, share it. That helps it spread even further. I am so excited that we have just reached 8,000 subscribers. And for me, that's a huge deal. But it's only made possible because of you subscribing. So thank you so much for your love and support and being part of this community and one of my many kindred spirits. With that, I will see you all next week. So let's give you a top-down version of what that looks like. And they lift out perfectly, like that. We have some friends coming over to celebrate my husband's 50th birthday. And so I made these in advance. It is Wednesday and I don't need them till Saturday. So the next test is going to be to see whether these can be kept chilled until I need them on Saturday. And that we don't need them all before then. And there's only 2 of us in the house, but man, these are delicious. You are so going to love them. If you love chocolate, you are going to love this sheet cake recipe. So enjoy.